Hello guys, in this session we'll start a new topic, electromagnetism. Electromagnetism basically deals with charges. So first let us analyze what is charge in a detailed way. Here charge is an inherent property of fundamental particles of matter due to which these particles exhibit electric and magnetic phenomena. See here, charge similar to mass is an inherent property, means it is the most basic property of the matter which you cannot separate these properties from the matter, due to which these particles are exhibiting electric and magnetic phenomena. So similar to mass we already discussed in first year. So mass is responsible for inertia and gravitational phenomena. Here similar to that, charge is responsible for electric and magnetic phenomena. In the further topics we will discuss about electric phenomenon and magnetic phenomenon, how this charge is producing this electric and magnetic phenomenon in further topics. As I told you, electromagnetism basically deals with charges. So here in this topic we discuss how charges are exhibiting electric effects, how these charges are producing magnetic effects, what are these electric effects, what are these magnetic effects, and when these charges produce electric effects, when these charges produce magnetic effects, these all come under electromagnetism. So now this will be a very vast topic, almost it takes 1 or 2 months to discuss. So they have categorized it into 3 subtopics, or you can say chapters. So first one is electrostatics, next magnetism, and then electromagnetic waves. Here under electrostatics chapter we discuss about charges which are at rest, only about the charges which are at rest, because when the charges are at rest they exhibit only electric effects but they does not exhibit magnetic effects. So here it will be very comfortable for us to discuss about electric phenomena without magnetic phenomena. If you start discussing about electric and magnetic effects simultaneously, it will be more confusing. So it is very comfortable for us to deal with charges which are at rest because they exhibit only electric effects. So first we will concentrate on electric phenomenon in electrostatics. Then once we have discussed about electric phenomena in this chapter, then we will move on to magnetism chapter. So in magnetism we will be discussing about charges moving, right? When charges are moving they exhibit both electric and magnetic phenomenon. So they exhibit both electric and magnetic phenomenon. But here, as we have already discussed about electric phenomenon, how charges are producing these electric effects, then we will here concentrate on magnetic phenomenon, how these charges are producing magnetic phenomenon when they are moving in this magnetism topic. Then once we have discussed about electric phenomenon and magnetic phenomenon, then we will move on to electromagnetism, or electromagnetic waves. Then we will move on to electromagnetic waves, where we will discuss about oscillating charges, the phenomenon produced by oscillating charges. Here due to oscillations they will produce time varying electric and magnetic fields, and due to this the energy will be propagated. That is the concept of light and everything. So we will discuss in electromagnetic waves at the last. So this is how they have categorized electromagnetism topic into 3 different subtopics or chapters we can say. Let us start with first topic of electromagnetism, that is electrostatics. First let us concentrate on properties of charge. So coming to the first property, charge is of 2 types. As we discussed, charge is inherent property of matter. We know matter is made up of atoms, and in atoms we know there are nucleus and electrons are revolving around nucleus, and in nucleus further it is made up of neutrons and protons. Here when you look at these fundamental particles, here electrons and protons are exhibiting electric effects, whereas neutrons are not exhibiting any electric effects. Here it means electrons and protons have charge but neutrons does not have any charge. Now when you concentrate on, when you analyze charge on electrons and charge on protons, these two are of different nature, they are not of same nature. Unlike mass, so these all particles, fundamental particles have mass, neutrons have mass, protons have mass, and electrons have mass, and the nature of mass in 3 fundamental particles it is same. But whereas charge on protons and charge on electrons are of different natures. So charge on electron and charge on proton have different nature. How did we know it? When a proton and a proton are kept nearby, they start repelling each other. Similarly, when an electron and electron are kept nearby, they also start repelling each other. So we may think here the charge always repel each other. But when you keep a proton and an electron nearby, they start attracting each other. From this, they understood that like charges are repelling each other and unlike charges are attracting each other. So to understand this in a better way, to make it simple, they have given different notations for positive charge, that is charge on protons and charge on electrons separately. So charge on proton is taken as a positive and the charge on electron is taken as a negative. But the magnitude of these charges is same and it is denoted by E. So now charge on proton is plus E and the charge on electron is minus E. Now let us discuss the second property of charge. Here charge is a scalar quantity. As it is a scalar quantity, we can add it algebraically. The charges can be added algebraically or even you can subtract it algebraically. So here if we take an example, plus 5E charge you have and a plus 2E charge you have. So when these two charges are combined, you will get a resultant charge plus 7E. And similarly, if you have two charges plus 10E and a minus 2E charges, when you combine these two, you will get plus 8E charge. So simple algebra. So we can add them, you can subtract them algebraically. So next, third property of charge. So charge is conserved. The net charge on a closed system is always conserved. We can frame it in other words similar to law of conservation of energy. The charge can neither be created nor be destroyed, but can only be transferred from one body to another. So let us see one example. You have two bodies, A and B. Let us say initial charge on A is some plus 2E, so QA initial is 2E and initial charge on B some plus 5E. Now when I connect these two bodies, some charge may flow from this body to this body or it may move from the B to A or A to B. But the total charge on the system should be conserved. So from this we can write, so let us say final charge on AB QAF A final and final charge on BB QB final. Now from law of conservation of charge we can write QA initial plus QB initial must be equal to QA final plus QB final. So this is what law of conservation of charge says. So some charge may move from A to B or it may also move from B to A. But the total charge initial should be equal to total charge final. So from here we will get a QA final. So final charges on A plus B must be equal to 7E plus 7E. So this is what we get. Charge can neither be created nor be destroyed. Guys, this doesn't mean the number of charges are conserved. Number of charges need not be conserved. Equal amount of positive charges and negative charges may appear or equal number of positive charges and negative charges may disappear. But the total charge is conserved, not number of charges. So I'll take an example here. Let us take annihilation, we call it as annihilation. Here a positive charge and a negative charge may combine to give you energy. Photon means basically it is energy, guys. Similarly, pair production, a photon may produce a positive charge and a negative charge. Pair production, we call it as pair production. So here, guys, here you have two charges, one positive charge, one negative charge. are combined to give you a photon, means zero charge. Here you don't have any charge, so number of charges has decreased here. And here initially there are no charges, but finally you have two charges. So here what happened? Equal amounts of positive charge and negative charge have combined, that is disappeared in this case. And here equal amount of positive charges and negative charges have appeared. So total charge here is 0 and here also it is 0. In this case also total charge initial and final both are zeros. So here total charge is always conserved. The number of charges need not be conserved. So the next property, charge is quantized. Before understanding what we mean by this statement, let us take an analogy of a familiar situation. Guys, let us consider few people who are transacting money among them. So now one person may transact any amount of money using the currency available, that is the coins and the notes. But there is a minimum limit below which he cannot transact. So in this case it is 1 rupee. One person cannot transact an amount which is less than 1 rupee. So now you don't have a 50 paise coin, you don't have 25 paise coin. The minimum value you can transact from one person to other person is 1 rupee. So similarly, the charge can be transferred from one object to another object, but there is a minimum limit for it as well, and that minimum limit is what we call quanta. Guys, among fundamental particles we have discussed that neutrons does not have any charge. Charge on proton is plus E and charge on electron is minus E. Yes, here electrons cannot be divided further. And coming to proton, in our syllabus we don't have further division of proton, but in further studies they have discovered that proton is made up of 3 subparticles termed as quarks. So we have 2 up quarks and 1 down quark. Charge on each up quark is plus 2e by 3 and charge on a down quark is minus e by 3. By looking at this, you may think that charge can be, the minimum value of charge can be e by 3. But these quarks does not exist independently. At least till now we can't find these independent quarks. So the minimum charge possible is E, that is either charge on proton or charge on electron. So the minimum transaction of charge can be done only in terms of E. So the charge on any body can be only in multiples of this minimum value E. So charge should be always equal to Ne, where N can be any integer. So this is what we mean by charge is quantized. The next property, charge is invariant. It means charge does not depend on frame of reference. With whatever speed the matter may move, the amount of charge on it does not change. Whereas mass changes with speed of matter. Right? When matter starts moving with very high speed, the amount of inertia will increase. Means mass will be high at high speeds. Einstein in theory of relativity has given an expression for mass as m is equals to m naught by 1 minus v by c whole square. Here guys, we have discussed in our mechanics that mass does not depend on frame of reference, because when in classical mechanics speed of the particles will be very small when compared to speed of light. So this value will be very small, it is negligible. So then m will be equal to m naught. So only in classical mechanics mass is independent of frame of reference. When it comes to quantum mechanics or when the matter starts moving with very high speeds, the mass increases. But in case of charge, the amount of charge on matter does not change with frame of reference. With this, we are done with properties of charges. In the next part, I'll cover concept of charging and methods to charge the bodies. Guys, if you find this video helpful, please hit the like button. In this series, I'll cover entire JEE syllabus. And apart from physics lectures, we will be coming up with exciting videos on career guidance, like review videos on engineering colleges and detailed analysis of all branches. And We are also planning to share informative videos on entrepreneurship. So if you don't want to miss out on these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.